Hello, everyone. I am new to sessions here, so hopefully you are able to join, and I'm sorry if I wince. I tweaked my back just before I was getting on, so apparently it is going to do some spasms. Fun times, but I am here to start our Q&A session. I'm so excited. Now that we've finished the 30-day Sleep Better Challenge, I am here to answer some questions. I actually have several questions that came through from various people, those who were doing the challenge in office, offline, online, all the above. So we're going to just go through the list and we'll go for as long as the next 30 to 45 60 minutes if we need to. I have that time blocked off to go through these questions. And if you have questions, you can write them here in the chat, which I'm going to pull this up. And here we go. All right, so I see the messages. Great. Yeah, so start that as well. Let me get this transcript going so we can see it. And we can download it later for y'all, so you have it in writing what we're covering today. I am so excited. So for those of you who are just hopping on to have some of your sleep questions answered, or if you actually did our 30-day Sleep Better Challenge, you can jump on and still get into the challenge. It's on our YouTube channel, and you can go through each of the weeks at your leisure now and see where you stand and how you can improve your sleep, because we went through a lot that in the last over 30 days, now that we are about a week after we finished the 30-day challenge. And so I wanted to give people the opportunity to ask me some questions. And like I said, I do have some here that I wrote down. So I'm just going to dive in and start going down the list. And question number one we have here: how long does it take to see improvements in sleep quality? Well, everyone, it's a little bit different. And it depends on how long the sleep issue has been going on. So, but for most people, once you start to get into a routine, usually within 2 to 3 days of making changes is when you start to see the sleep to improve. Within a week, most people have seen noticeable differences in their sleep quality and duration of sleep when you start to make the changes that we talked about in our 30-day Sleep Better Challenge. It also depends on what you are utilizing as your intervention, as in what are you doing to help improve your sleep. So if you are doing nutrients, diet changes, supplements, you can see results as quickly as the day that you start taking them, or it could take a little bit of time to build up in your system. Again, it's going to be variable from person to person, but also how long the sleep imbalance or sleep issues have been going on, because your body may have deficiencies or imbalances that need resetting. And so it's going to take a little bit of time. But usually I like to say, especially with the things that we were recommending or going through in our Sleep Better Challenge, you could see changes within the week of starting. Okay. Question number 2: what should I do if I still struggle to fall asleep after implementing the tips from the challenge? Well, all the tips that we gave you were like broad stroke tips, things that should help the majority of people. Now, there are going to be people it doesn't work for, or that it doesn't get you to where you want to be. And this is where we would recommend that you follow up with your providers and again, your providers can be different, but maybe it's your primary care, or if you work with an integrative practitioner or functional medicine practitioner, they're going to be able to dive in a little bit more into your health history and other things that might be contributing to why you're not getting the results with the things that we covered in the challenge. So if you're still struggling, or you feel like you got some results, but then you're kind of like stuck, that's when I would say start working with a integrative and or functional medicine provider to really dive into maybe the more medical side of what's going on and contributing to your sleep issues. Question number 3. Can you share more tips for dealing with stress and anxiety before bedtime? Yes. So with stress and anxiety, oftentimes, especially before bedtime, stress and anxiety start to come up is because you haven't, kind of dealt with things through the day, or things have built up through the day. And there are some other contributing factors too, to sleep and anxiety that can happen in the evening versus during the day. But it's one thing is to have regular stress management practices. So having things that you are doing to help your stress. I also find that with dealing with stress and anxiety, if you haven't exercised that day, sometimes that might be why your anxiety and stress is higher before bedtime, is your energy hasn't been burned enough or efficiently. And so you have this extra energy that ends up contributing to more stress or anxiety at bedtime. The other thing is having routines. Routines are so key for helping to improve stress and reduce anxiety levels. So if you look at your day, and if you're kind of like all like go throughout the day and you have your running to-do list in your head, you have no structure or schedule in your day, that can actually increase more stress and anxiety, especially before bedtime. So making sure that you are structured. You think of this too as this is true for kids as well. So when kids have hyperactivity or trouble focusing, the biggest problem we see is that they don't have structure and routine. So if that is part of your issue, or you start to become more aware of what is your routine and how is it helping or not helping you in terms of your stress management and or anxiety levels. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention too that can also contribute to more stress and anxiety before bed is your eating schedule. So if you are eating later into the evenings, that may also contribute to you having more stress and anxiety before bed. It's also if you are not eating a well-rounded dinner. But by that I mean is that you're not getting enough protein, or you ate earlier in the day and it was maybe more carb heavy, or not having enough protein and fat in that dinner meal, which would lead to maybe a blood sugar spike right after you eat and then a drop. And that drop is actually what can increase stress and anxiety before bed. So that's the other two things. Those are the two things I would look at, is your routine through the day, if you have schedule and structure, and also looking at your dinner time meals. Question number 4. What's the ideal sleep environment for better sleep quality? Now, we definitely covered this more in detail in the videos from our Sleep Better Challenge. So I would say to go back and rewatch week number 2, because we definitely dove into it there, but we also reviewed it in week number 3. But the ideal sleep environment for better sleep quality is going to include that you have the right temperature, you have limited noise and other outside distractions that can contribute to sleep interruptions. You want it to be in a dark place, as in if you're sensitive to the lights, like as in street lamps or outside your bedroom window, you want to get light blocking curtains or wear an eye mask. Those are all going to set the environment for better sleep quality as well. And I also like to use other things, like again, we mentioned this in week 2 of the Sleep Study Challenge, the Sleep Better Challenge, is I like to use essential oils to help, diffuse in the air, so that actually helps me get into a more calming place. And also using them topically as needed to also get me into a more relaxed state. And that can also improve your sleep quality. All right, number 5. Are there specific foods or drinks I should avoid close to bedtime? Most definitely. As you see me drinking my cup of tea today, that is one that you should avoid. This is caffeinated. So if you want to have something to help with sleep, you want caffeine free, and you're going to want herbs that are more calming or relaxing, like chamomile, valerian, passion flower, lavender. Those are all gonna, if your herbal tea contains that, no caffeine, that's gonna help actually improve your sleep. Coffee, caffeinated beverages like sports drinks, energy drinks, all should be avoided before bed. All right, question number 6. How can I maintain my sleep improvements in the long term? Well, in the long term, it's partly is being consistent and having a routine. Like I said, routine actually helps set us up for less stress, better moods, and consistency. So it's creating that routine. And you may have seen one of the guides that we put as in the descriptions of our videos was the AM PM ritual guide. So how you create your own AM or morning ritual, how you create your own nighttime ritual. And again, that's going to help you prolong and maintain the benefits that you've achieved here in this challenge. All right, question number 7. What's the role of exercise in promoting better sleep? Okay, well, exercise is key to improving sleep because, one, there's so many health benefits to exercise, as you probably already know, and we talked about earlier in the challenge. It actually helps improve our mood, helps with circulation. It also helps us to even out our energy levels. So if you are having troubles with sleep, sometimes it's because you have excess energy kind of being pent up and not dispersed. And so exercise can help you do that. Now, if you are exercising right before bed, that can actually keep you up longer. So you want to exercise not right before bed, maybe doing exercises like stretching or gentle yoga or restorative yoga is actually going to help you move, but also help you unwind for bed. So those are the types of exercise I would do before bed. But exercise, cardiovascular exercise, intermittent high intensity exercises, are, like HIIT exercises, what I was thinking of, are all things that you're going to want to do earlier in the day, not right before bed, but they are actually going to help improve your balance in your hormones, your inflammation levels, and also helping to stimulate the right circadian rhythm and sleep cycle. That's going to help you sleep better. All right. How do electronic devices impact sleep, and what can I do to minimize their effects? Well, we definitely talked on that during the challenge, but just to review, electronic devices are definitely going to affect your sleep cycle because they emit blue light. Now you can change that and put a filter on, change the settings on your devices to minimize that, but still using devices is going to stimulate your brain and actually your eyes to be more awake, putting you more into I wouldn't say fight or flight, but for some people it does put them into fight or flight rather than rest and digest, which is what we're in the nervous system kind of balance here. We're looking to be more on the parasympathetic rest and digest side, especially for bed and better sleep quality, versus the sympathetic side of fight or flight or action and do things, right? So devices are going to stimulate that. Even watching TV or watching movies, and I know I have this happen for a lot of people. They're like, well, I fell asleep while watching TV. And so, and that's fine, but except that when you wake up again to go to bed, then you have trouble sleeping because you were getting still that stimulus. And so even if your eyelids are closed, you're getting some of that blue light emission going through your eyelids, and just general, you are being reactivated to be alert in some ways. And so the more you can set up that ritual to, have a wind down period, turn the devices off, step away from them, get into your bed, and create that calming environment for better sleep, you're going to get better results that way. All right, number 9, are there any recommended sleep supplements or aids you can suggest? There are so many, and it's going to be person to person what's going to work best. And we talked about some of the herbs that can be helpful, and you can look into some of the herbs like valerian, passion flower, chamomile, lavender, just to name a few. And we went into more detail in the Sleep Better Challenge videos. But There's, magnesium can play a role in sleep, melatonin, some of our amino acids like glycine, phosphatidylserine. But again, in what I do, and I help people working on trying to improve their sleep quality, using food as medicine, using different nutraceuticals that come from natural substances and such. There's just a broad range of what works for people, and it does kind of look at what the underlying cause might be for sleep. And so whether it's a hormone based, a nutrient based, a stress based kind of interaction that we have to assess, that there might be one choice over the other, but there are plenty of options out there. I know we shared in the in our videos about doTERRA and essential oils. We'll share another when we repost this Q&A session to the challenge playlist. We'll also include in the description a link to doTERRA's sleep system, which has a supplement with some herbs and nutrients in it, essential oil blend, and an essential oil blend stick that actually has valerian herb in it, which is a great combination. It's like a whole system. So we'll share that with you too. That's where I like to start people, is like kind of on the bare minimum. And that's why I like this challenge, is to start with the habits that we have, creating new and better habits and lifestyle changes that are going to actually help get us those results. And supplement wise, there is a whole slew of things, but again, just recommending one would not be doing you a service per se. It'd be, we need to get you a more holistic approach to give you the best recommendation for you, but you've got a place to start. So if you haven't started there yet, great. If you need support or have more questions, you can reach out to us here at the office or comment below this video. All right. All right. What's the connection between sleep and overall well-being? Well, that's the whole point of this challenge, actually, is that sleep is fundamental to your overall well-being. It's one of the key performance indicators, as I say. Like, we have KPIs or key performance indicators in business, in so many different areas, but in our health and well-being, sleep is one of those key performance indicators. So we have sleep, energy levels, your appetite or how you digest, your mood. For women, it's menses, and then our sixth one is stress levels, right? And how we manage our stress, how stressed we feel. So those are the 6 key performance indicators that I look to whenever I'm talking with anyone about their health and wellness, is those 6 areas. And sleep, like I said, is one of the first ones, right? So if you're not getting good sleep, your overall well-being is going to be at a deficit. First of all, your energy levels will suffer because of it, but it's also, sleep is so vital. It's the way that our body heals. It's that time that our body has to heal and recover and recalibrate. So if we don't get adequate amount of sleep and deep and restful sleep, we're just not getting the job done. We're kind of halfway in, halfway out. And so, and over time, it's an accumulative effect. The more you are deficient, the more problems or things don't get fixed overnight. And so then things just break down faster. You have more inflammation. You feel crummier. You don't have good mood. So again, sleep is going to affect multiple areas. It's going to affect your energy levels. It's going to affect potentially how well you digest or get the nutrients your body needs via digestion. It's going to affect your mood. And for ladies, a lot of times too, is like, if you're not getting enough sleep, it may even affect your menstrual cycles and the regularity of them. And then at the end of the day, after all that, you're going to have a slower, or I should say a lower stress tolerance, meaning you can't handle all the stressors that come your way, or you don't handle them as well because you're deficient on sleep. So it is one of the keys to overall health and wellness. All right. 11. How can I establish a consistent sleep routine if my schedule varies? Well, a sleep routine is just that. It's a routine. So you can do it at any time to help with your varying schedule. Sorry. Muscle cramp. So you want to focus on, making sure that your routine, maybe you have a couple different options for your sleep routine, right? So maybe if you're traveling a lot, so you're not in your regular home space, it might be harder to create the same environment. So do you have a shortened version of that, or something that can travel with you that maybe not as good as what you do when you're at home, but will allow for you to have some of that unwinding and relaxation so that you can get into a better sleep, especially when you're not in your own space. I actually have a travel diffuser that I take with me. And so if I am not home, I can still put my oils on to diffuse right next to the bed I'm sleeping in. So I start with that. In terms of supplements, so that might be that I'm taking a supplement, and I might actually be more consistent with my supplement when my schedule is irregular for that reason, because it's going to help me get into that routine of getting into deeper, more restful, relaxed sleep. All right. Question number 12. Oh, tips for managing sleep disruptions during travel or changes in your routine. So that question is actually very much related to the last one. So I wouldn't change much in my answer there, but is managing sleep disruption. So, if you're in a hotel room, you only have so much that you can control. But like you said, is like I have a travel diffuser I carry with me. And so I use that to help me stay calm and set the environment next to the bed that I'm sleeping in is more relaxing and calming. I actually will travel with an eye mask. So just in case the room is too bright and I can't control that. And then of course I would say is like, if you wake up in the night, because like say here in a hotel, and I've had this happen and traveling, there is a disruption in the middle of the night. So obviously you're not in your own space, and having that can actually make you more amped up and harder to fall back asleep. So then that's when I may practice doing some of my breathing exercises or meditation to help me unwind and get back into my sleep cycle. All right. Let's see. All right. Question number 13. All right. How important is it for natural exposure for regulating sleep patterns? Well, again, natural light or artificial light, either one is going to potentially interfere with you sleeping, potentially, because your body is going to sense the light and think it's time to be awake. And so keeping that in mind, you're going to want to, set an alarm so that you wake up if you're wearing an eye mask and things like that. So just, natural light, just like even, I have a lamp here, lamp there, are going to interfere with your sleep cycle. So kind of if you are sensitive to light, and that is one of the things that stimulates you to wake up in the night, make sure that you create that at least an 8-hour time frame where the light is not coming in. And using alarms as needed to help you get to wake up for your regular workday kind of thing. All right, we're going down the list here. So what role do naps play in overall sleep health? Well, naps are a pro and a con. So there's definitely benefits to having a siesta or an afternoon nap. But it also can play a role in your having problems with sleeping at night. So here's the thing. If you are really tired and tired enough to have a nap, is you want to make sure that it is not like a 2-3 hour nap in the afternoon, because that is going to interfere with your sleep at night. Now, the nap may be warranted if you didn't sleep the night before, but taking naps is going to potentially interfere with your ability to sleep at night. It is actually, sending the message that daytime sleeping is what you need. So what I always recommend is like try to keep your naps, if you have to take one in the afternoon, to 30 minutes, at most an hour, but also not making sure that it's not too late in the day. Because later in the day, like anything after 3 o'clock, is really going to interfere with your ability to fall asleep at night. So, and again, it just depends what your work schedule is or what activities you have going on during the day. You may not be able to have a nap, but keeping in mind like a short power nap can be refreshing. So 15 power naps are generally 10 to 15 minutes. They're not going to be getting you into deep sleep. So they're not going to be actually like as restorative as a night's sleep, but they can give you a little bit of boost of energy and help you get through the rest of the day so that you can get to your bedtime at 9 or 10 o'clock at night so that you can get a good night's sleep. All right. How can I manage shift work and still prioritize healthy sleep habits? Now, I know that shift work may not be an option for some people, and you have to work to pay the bills. I totally understand that. I do say that if we can minimize it as much as possible, that is best. But the best thing to do, because most shift work is not 5 to 7 nights a week. It's mostly anywhere from 3 to 4 nights a week. And so on the days that you are not working is when I recommend to be really strict with your sleep schedule and making sure that you're getting into a natural or normal rhythm of sleep for those days that you're not working the shift work. This is also when you may need to take naps. So naps may actually be part of what you need to help compensate for shift working. Okay. Is it normal to wake up during the night, and how should I handle it? So it is not normal to wake up in the night. There are things that obviously can cause waking up in the night, noises, sounds. If you have kids, often babies will be keeping you up in the night. So that could be normal to wake up during the night because you have children and or babies that are waking you up. And so that could be normal, but how should you handle it? It is the same thing. Is if you are waking up in the night, you want to work on doing those relaxing, calming things to help you set up to get back into a better, deeper sleep. So diffusing essential oils, breathing exercises, and even some of those supplements or herbs to help you wind back down and go back to sleep. Next question is very similar to that one. So can you provide additional advice for parents with young children affecting their sleep? So it also can help, depending on why your child is waking you up, is making sure that they're set up for the best night's sleep so that they're not waking you up. So if they are having issues, if they're sick, colicky, all those things, is making sure you're doing the things to help for them to get a restful sleep. So having a good nighttime ritual for them, so that you can have a little bit of time for yourself before, but you want to help them wind down so that they're getting into a better sleep cycle as well and not interrupting your sleep. Obviously, if they're sick, that's not like forever. Usually it's a week or less, hopefully, of dealing with them waking in the night, but also helping them to cope and cover through that. It's going to help you. And again, routine is great for kids. Having your routine is also good. And then again, using some of the tools that we talked about in the challenge are going to help you if you do wake up and getting back to sleep. Do those, breathing exercises, journaling, making sure your room is the right environment set up for you to go back to sleep easily. And like I said, I'm a big fan of the essential oils to help me wind down and get back into that restful sleep after I've been woken up. And it has worked for many people as well. It can also help with kids and their nighttime issues and helping them wind down as well. Okay. Number 18, how do I know if I have a sleep disorder and when should I seek professional help? Well, sleep disorders often will not resolve with the things that we have talked about in the sleep challenge. If you have had a sleep study before, that is often the diagnostic testing that we do to help determine if you have a sleep disorder. But if you're still concerned about whether you have a sleep disorder or not, following up with your primary care, having that conversation about your health history, the things that you're noticing, some really key and important times when you should seek out a professional is if you are waking up in the middle of the night gasping for air, if your spouse or partner said that they've heard you stop breathing in the night, you have other health issues like hypertension, blood pressure issues, or even blood sugar dysregulation and things like that. If you're overweight, those are all things that can predispose you to sleep issues and sleep disorders. So sleep disorders do not go away, like I said, with the things that we have talked about in this challenge, and do need support from your healthcare providers. So if you're not sure or you need further evaluation, it is time to follow up there. If you feel like your sleep is getting worse and not getting better, even though you've tried multiple different things, like the things we talked about in this challenge, then follow up with your provider, your primary care, your general practitioner, and get seen and evaluated with them. All right. All right. Tips for dealing with overthinking or racing mind when trying to sleep. Okay, this one is a common and a little bit of a challenging one, because oftentimes the racing thoughts or mind is coming from stress or anxiety. And so, like I mentioned earlier on, is the better you can manage your stress and anxiety, the less those racing thoughts tend to be a problem. Doing the things that I mentioned about getting into a calming, relaxing environment are going to help. And actually, I have found exercise to be an awesome tool for actually helping with the racing thoughts. But again, it does need to be done earlier in the day, not before bedtime. Okay. How do different seasons affect sleep, and are there adjustments needed? So different seasons do affect sleep, and the most common one is temperature. So when the temperatures change, because as we talked about in the challenge, having the right temperature is going to actually promote better sleep and helping you get into deeper sleep. So if the room is too hot, that is often the culprit actually for interrupting sleep, because then you're tearing off the covers and then taking off layers, and then you're sweaty, and then you get cold because you're sweaty and all that kind of stuff, right? So when the seasons change and the temperature, let's say the heat is turning on more because it's cold outside, or the heat, it's just getting hotter in the house because it's not cold enough, not hot enough to put the air conditioning on. Those are all times when we start to see more trouble with sleep. So just be mindful of that, and you can check the forecast and see what the temperatures are going to be overnight, and see, do I need to wear more clothes or less clothes, knowing that you might have to take some layers off, or change your bedding so that it's more appropriate for what the weather is actually going to be like. So that can definitely affect it. I've also seen for the summer, or actually some people have more trouble with having more energy and staying up later in the summer, and that part of it. So that routine part. So even though we have longer hours, like more sunshine in the summer, it does not mean that our routine for sleep should change. It should stay consistent. So if you have set your bedtime at 10, that should be the bedtime in the summer and the bedtime in the winter. Okay. Are there specific supplements that can aid in improving sleep quality that weren't discussed in the challenge? Yes, there are. So like I mentioned, the doTERRA sleep system, the Serenity blend capsules are amazing in the challenge. But I was saying the ingredients in there are great. And that includes magnesium, L-theanine, melissa. I think there's some cherry in there. I feel like valerian's in the stick. So in the actual supplement, chamomile. Yeah. So that's in the Serenity capsules. I love that blend. It's a good blend. It's a good starting point. Like I said, there's a lot of different supplements, a lot of different companies out there. So it can vary from person. That's why I'm trying to talk more generally in terms of ingredients and things that can be helpful. So like some of your amino acids, like L-theanine, but there's like phosphatidylserine, phosphatidylcholine, magnesium, which we did talk about in the challenge. There's so many. And I was like, I'm drawing a little bit. Glycine. These are amino acids that are going to actually help your nervous system to get calmer. Herbs like ashwagandha and rhodiola, which are classically, known to help with our stress response, but also have been shown in studies to help with calming the nervous system. And again, depending on the quantity, they can have a little bit different effect in terms of stimulation versus calming effects. And that does require some nuance, and of course working with a provider if you're wanting to use those for those purposes. But overall, they work really well for stress in helping you get to a calmer state and help you unwind overall. Okay, can you provide information on the effectiveness of herbal teas for promoting better sleep? Well, teas in general have a twofold effect, and that's actually why I recommend doing a hot tea before bed, because actually the actually having something warm before bed can actually stimulate your body at its time to sleep. It's like kind of like how warm milk works sometimes for people, right? It's that warm kind of cozy drink that's going to help your body warm up just a little bit to start to unwind and relax to get into a better sleep cycle or better, deeper sleep. And so herbal teas in general, any herbal tea is going to be supportive because it's warm and it's helping you to unwind and get into that space. Herbal teas that can contain herbs that are more relaxing or sedating or calming are going to actually help you unwind so that you can get into a deeper sleep, because it's going to stimulate more of that parasympathetic nervous system, more of that calming rest and digest phase that will allow for you to sleep better. So it's twofold. The teas, hot or warm, it's going to help warm up your body and help stimulate your body to think that it's time to unwind. And then the herbs included, if they're more calming, relaxing, soothing kind of teas or herbs, they are going to help you fall asleep more effectively because they do have ingredients that are actually stimulating that side of your nervous system. What role do vitamins and minerals play in sleep health, and are there specific ones to focus on? Well, overall, if your body is absorbing as it should, your digestion is optimized, you're going to get all the nutrients you need from your foods. However, in this day and age, a lot of us struggle with different times when our digestion may not be optimal, whether it's because of stress, the foods we're eating or consuming, or the quality of the foods that we're consuming. So they do play a role because, again, we need nutrients to help our nervous system function optimally. We need different vitamins and minerals to help with the calming side of our nervous system. We need different vitamins and minerals to help with our energy usage and expenditure during the day, and our focus and our cognitive function also during the day needs certain vitamins and minerals. And so there's a whole spectrum. So basically, I always say it's the balance, and making sure you're getting adequate amounts of everything in your diet is key. But if you have digestive issues, or you know that you have stress, or you know that sometimes you're just not eating the way you know you should, a good multivitamin is a good place to start. But also making sure you have adequate levels of magnesium, making sure that you are getting your B vitamins to help with your stress response. Vitamin D has a huge role in our immune function as well as our hormone balance. So that, again, vitamin D, and I live in New England, up here in Connecticut, and honestly, we were just talking about this today, is it's cloudy again. It's been months of no sunshine. And when we don't have a lot of sunshine, we just don't get the vitamin D conversion that we need to from our exposure to the sun. And so that can create deficiencies. So just being aware of where you're living, your balance there, and if you need to supplement as needed. And that's going to be your basic vitamins and minerals. So your Bs, your vitamin D, magnesium. Oh, and I'm a big fan of omega-3s. We just don't get enough in the diet. The majority of Americans don't get enough omega-3s in their diet. Omega-3s are so important on so many levels. They do help with our brain chemistry. They do help with reducing inflammation and things like that, but it's also good for our cardiovascular health, so our circulation. And again, these are all things from a medical standpoint is what I think of. It was what else is contributing to sleep issues? Well, if we have poor circulation, if we have dysregulated immune function, if we have problems with inflammation, or we're in pain, our omega-3s are foundational for helping to reduce that. So making sure you're getting enough omega-3s in your diet is going to be another nutrient that your body needs. And it can have a side benefit of helping support your sleep health. All right, so are there alternative therapies such as aromatherapy or essential oils that can enhance sleep? We definitely went in detail in there in this challenge about how aromatherapy can help. And I was just mentioning the Serenity blend from doTERRA. I have a couple of other blends that I actually love to help me unwind and sleep. I am a big forest fan, as in I like the smell of like things that are woodsy and pine and grounding. And so a lot of the blends I use to help me sleep aside from Serenity is like the Shinroku blend. I actually have Huga here, which is called the Cozy blend. Frankincense, one of my favorite single standalone essential oils that can also help. Again, it's that grounding, soothing quality that you're looking for in the essential oils. And for everyone, it's a little bit different. But for me in sleep, that is what I need to get to sleep, as my thumbs up shows. All right. Can you share insights into the impact of different diets on sleep quality, like keto or vegetarian? Okay. This is probably a little bit more in-depth or complicated question than I can answer, because it's dependent on person to person. Like keto and vegetarianism can be a lifestyle choice. But I also have had lots of people who try to go that route and they have a hard time maintaining that diet for the long term. Now, if that is the case and you're doing it right, it can be really beneficial to help with sleep because it's actually improving your metabolism and helping you reduce your inflammation loads and actually helping you on other levels and even balancing your hormones. However, a lot of people struggle with maintaining it or doing it correctly, as in having the adequate amounts of protein or fats that are good for you, that actually help your body function at its best. And so they are a little bit more on the extreme side, but you can still do them. And if they are done, and I guess the best way to put this, if they're done correctly and they are helping balance other mechanisms like your metabolism, your hormone balance, your immune function, and they're helping you build muscle and stay active, then they are going to help with your sleep quality. However, if they are stressing you out, causing you to go on and off or feel like you're fluctuating or skipping meals or, basically being irregular in any way, it's going to affect your sleep schedule. It really is important to have the right balance in your macronutrients. And when I say macronutrients, I'm talking your protein, your fats, and your carbs. And in a keto diet, the carb level is much lower. It doesn't mean that you have no carbs, but you need to have adequate levels of fuel, quick fuel per se, or making sure that you're getting enough of the long-term fuel like protein and fats earlier on. So it's a balancing act. And so, like I said, there is a little bit more awareness and consistency and mindfulness around how you're planning with that type of diet. With vegetarianism, it's not as strict because you are getting all of those macronutrients. But the thing where I see people falter in the vegetarian diet or lifestyle is that they are getting more carbs and not enough protein and fats. And therefore, their mental health struggles a little bit because you do need amino acids, which come from proteins, majority come from proteins. And so if you're not getting enough protein, then your body is not getting those amino acids, and therefore your energy levels, as well as your protein, your muscle building capacity, and your cognitive health can fluctuate and be a problem. So it really is like they require more work. And then when they are supporting you and balancing you and allowing for your body to be optimized, then they are going to work wonders for your sleep. However, if it is not something you can maintain, or you are fluctuating in that maintenance, then it actually can disrupt or dysregulate your sleep quality. How do adaptogens contribute to better sleep, and which ones are recommended? Adaptogens, if you don't know already, are this category of herbs that we talk about, or that we have a category of herbs that actually help with our body's ability to adapt. So it has to do with stress response, but it also has to do with our nervous system tone. When I say tone, I'm talking about like whether you're in fight or flight or rest and digest. That balance between those two sides of the nervous system is where adaptogens come into play. And of course, if your body can handle more stressors or adapt better, you have better resilience, and therefore your sleep quality actually improves. And that's how adaptogens work better to help with sleep. I actually mentioned some of those adaptogens like rhodiola or ashwagandha because those are commonly used for stress response and actually helping to calm the nervous system. Those are some great herbs to look into. There are more, but we'll keep it short here. Are there any specific breathing exercise or techniques for relaxation that can aid in sleep? There are so many. And so if you are looking for multiple different kinds, there are so many apps like the Calm app. Actually, I think I have it here. I can show you. The Calm app has like a ton of different breathing exercises or things that you can go through, and it's free. Obviously, if you want more availability or more options, they have actually, I don't know if you can see that, the Calm app right there. Calm app right there. And you tap it there, it'll bring you here. Oh, looks like I hit the wrong thing. So there it is. There's the Calm app. I do not have the paid version. I use the free one, but they have so many free options, and you can do sleep, and they have some things here that you can choose through. But it can help you with winding down and helping you with sleep. So there's one. So if you're looking for different breathing techniques or things, I believe I mentioned one during week 3 of the challenge that I often do. It's called 5-7-9 breathing exercise. This is, and the numbers can vary. So it could be 5-7-8, 5-7-9, 4-7-9, 4-6-9. You do what works for you, and you can always set a new goal. Like, so you start at one number and your goal is to get to the next one. So what the breathing exercise is basically you are, I need a little breathing myself right now because I just had a muscle spasm. Breathing in for the first number. So if you're doing 4-7-9, which is what I usually do, is breathe in for 4 or 5-7-9. Actually, I'll do 5-7-9. I can breathe in for 5. You breathe in for 5, and then you hold for 7. So you're just counting in your head. You count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you exhale for 9. Now, I know some people are challenged by the holding for 7, so you can go down to 6. Some people are challenged by the 9 and exhaling slowly. So you can always go down to 8 or even 7. Do what works best for you. So you breathe in for a certain number, hold for a certain number, and exhale for a certain number. If that seems too hard, that the numbers are increased, from breathing in to holding to exhaling, try doing the same number then. Try breathing in for 4, holding for 4, exhaling for 4. If that's too easy, go to breathe in for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5, right? You want to work towards getting yourself to that point where you can relax more. And the more you focus on it, the more you're going to unwind and relax. And that's the one I default to. Like when I need to do a breathing exercise or something to help me relax, that is the one I go to. All right. Next question. What's the connection between gut health and sleep? And how can I support it? Well, funny you should ask that question. That is actually some new, more and more data is coming out more recently. So gut health has always been something that I know influences every part of our being. That's why it's one of our, I said, key performance indicators earlier. So sleep, energy, appetite or digestion, mood, menses, and stress, right? Those are our key performance indicators. Those are the things that we're looking at to determine where we're at in our health and wellness, right? Well, appetite or digestion is important because if we are not getting the nutrients we need, it is going to affect other areas of the body, including our hormones, including our immune function, including our energy levels. So it's going to affect our sleep cycles. And new research is coming out and showing that there are gut bacteria that we have, some in less quantity than we should, that can actually predispose us to problems with sleep and mood issues as well. And so new probiotics are coming out all the time. We've used one here at the office called ProbioMax Serenity. We also have used the doTERRA line, their new PB Assist Plus, as well as their PB microbiome. Okay, there's those probiotics, and they have been showing that formulation of different probiotics is actually improving mood, but also making us more calm. And that's going to help our sleep, right? So if we're just generally more calm. Now, the other thing to note too with our digestive health is that 85% of our immune system is in our digestive tract, but it's also the place where our neurotransmitters are made. Our neurotransmitters that help with our brain, our cognitive function, and our nervous system, right? So if we have impairment in our gut health, inherently we are going to have problems with our focus, our mental health, and our sleep. So make sure that is one performance indicator, or KPI, that you're keeping track of and seeing if there's changes in your digestive function or how you're digesting and your sleep and your mood. Okay. Oh, the other part to that question is how can I support it? So supporting it, making sure that you're getting a well-rounded whole foods diet, making sure you're getting plenty of nutrients from your fruits and vegetables, making sure that you chew your food and taking time to eat, not eating on the go. And lastly, gut health is important. So if you want to take a probiotic, those are an option, but you can also just making sure you're getting some of the good bacteria from the foods that you're eating, kefir, yogurts, cultured foods, like kimchi and sauerkraut, have all those good bacteria helping to ferment and make those foods. Okay. All right. I was going to say, I just saw the time, and I think some of these questions that I'm looking at are, yes. Okay. This one I haven't covered, and I think the other ones I have. So I'm going to answer this one last question, and then we will call it a day. And if you have more questions or more things come up for you, please comment in below this video, and I will make sure to check our channel and answer as we go. Are there any unique considerations for individuals with specific health conditions like diabetes or heart issues in relation to sleep? Yes and yes. Okay. Sleep can play a huge role in blood pressure control. So if you are not getting enough sleep or interrupted sleep, or so not enough sleep, interrupted sleep, or not giving yourself enough time to sleep, you are going to potentially increase your cardiovascular risk and hypertension levels. Basically, how blood pressure levels go up have been shown as is with sleep deprivation, with interruptions in sleep, and when you don't get adequate amount of sleep. So if you're not giving yourself enough time to sleep. Now, then it used to be recommended that for healthy adults, 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night was adequate. That number has changed, has been updated, that it should be 7 to 9 hours per night of sleep is adequate to maintain health, is health for, to maintain health. But to be healthy, you need to have 7 to 9 hours of sleep. So that is really important. And so if you're having sleep interruptions, or if you are having trouble sleep, the sooner you get your sleep regulated and getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep a night, you're actually going to see improvements in your blood pressure numbers, as well as circulation too, because like I said, sleep is the time that your body is recovering and healing. So if your body is able to repair and recover and relax, you're going to improve your cardiovascular system and your circulation. Now with diabetes, yes, also plays a role in diabetes will affect your cardiovascular and circulation because of higher blood sugars or dysregulation in your blood sugar control. Having problems with your blood sugar control can actually interrupt your sleep. So just like I was saying for cardiovascular disease, getting that adequate amount of sleep is important for diabetes because it's going to help you regulate your blood sugars better. But it's also important to make sure that you're regulating your blood sugars during the day so that they're not tanking while you're sleeping, because that's going to interrupt your sleep and increase your risk for the other things, less sleep, interruptions, and then that's going to affect your cardiovascular and circulation systems too. So it is really important to balance those all out and making sure you're getting the right amount of sleep and support to help regulate your metabolism, your blood sugar control, and even your circulation and blood pressures. Okay, so that is all the questions I'm going to answer for today. Thank you so much for joining me here or watching this replay. So glad to have you. Be sure to, if you haven't already watched the whole series or you need to go back and watch the whole series on this Sleep Better Challenge, go back and watch the videos in this playlist. But also comment below. Let us know that you, if you have any questions or want to, need support, we're here to help you. I'm going to put some links here in the description for you to follow up on so that you have some more resources. And I'm so happy that you got to watch this, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Subscribe to our channel here, and you'll get more tips and tricks on how to help you in your health and living your healthiest life. All right, bye-bye for now.